kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
Tony boy.
I'm paranoid, I'm paranoid, I'm paranoid, bitch, I'm paranoid, I'm paranoid, I'm paranoid, I'm paranoid, bitch, I'm paranoid. Testicles, 1, 2, testicles. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Paranoid Radio Podcast. I am your humble host, Trebles Garcia. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today, and I want to thank every single one of you joining us right now in this comment section, on this live on Instagram. I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an amazing episode lined up for all of you guys, and I have an amazing content to drop, an amazing every single fucking week. You could catch us on paranoidradio.com. You could catch also the most amazing fucking podcast on every single podcast platform, absolutely free. Yo, check on your fathers, check on your daughters, check on your brother-in-laws, check on your brothers, check on your sisters, check on your cousins, check on your grandfathers. Dudes, lives matter. June is not for pride only. This is also men's mental health awareness month, and I want you guys to all take care of your fathers, take care of every single man, anybody that has been of influence, and make sure you protect those fatherly figures, that masculine energy around the motherfucking planet. Every single one of you, please, dudes' lives matter. Now, check this out, guys. I also have brand new shirts on paranoidradio.com. And drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. That is right. Yo, I have an amazing special guest here today. About to talk some fucking crap. Excuse my fucking French. If I chop it up, I'm sorry. OREGON.ITE.
Perfect.
What's up, big dog?
OREGON.ITE. What's up? How you doing? Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here today. I'm happy to talk to you about whatever we are going to end up talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I noticed that you have an amazing energy and a lot of information to put out. The last time we spoke on Chef Mad, shout outs to Chef from Sunday Night Secret Societies, and also K4V3 podcast. I'm rocking your sweater right now. Mad shout outs to all of them. These guys are my brothers. We were talking about a little bit about the stuff that you do, and you gifted me this amazing, beautiful little OREGON.ITE structure here. Look at that, guys. Oh man. And he gave me my special colors, the colors that I really enjoy. Brown, lots of browns and oranges in there. I love earth colors. Now, for the people that do not know, where can they find you? What is it that you do, bro?
Yeah, I make this technology called OREGON.ITE, and it consists of epoxy, steel, and there's a quartz crystal at the tip of all my pyramids. And this acts as a constant converter of life force energy. So it's taking energy that is stagnant, or you can call them energy blockages, or there's a bunch of different words for it. You can fill in the blank. And it takes this energy in, and it transmutes it into a higher vibrational form of the energy and something that is harmonious with all life around it. So you can find me at Oregon, www.oregon, like the state, OREGON -ITE.com, and that's my website. I make a bunch of different pieces and shapes. Like, I don't just make pyramids, I make like OREGON.ITE mushrooms. I actually just put a person's review out today on my Instagram, and you can check it out, and it's actually really cool. And I've got any different shape you want. Like, this is a pyramid that I just made. I just also posted this on my website, but this has a 528 hertz tuning fork on the bottom of it, and you can smack it and it will emit a vibration, a positive frequency vibration that will activate the energies of the pyramid itself and also enhance the frequency that's coming out of it, because you have that energetic flow aura essentially.
Absolutely. And you know what? I also found out just recently in some of the studies that I did with my best friend, co-host, Big Tank. Shout out to Big Tank and Flash_News1, my deep state correspondent, my Trump-loving motherfucking patriot out there. And every single patriot out there, also everybody that's tuning in, I also want to make sure you guys are thought of, and I want to show some gratitude to every single one of you. Yo, I also found out that the Egyptians used to use all those shit. So that if you're mummified like this and you got some stuff on you, these were not tools that they were just used to fucking whip slaves into shape. They were actually tools to tune fork you into the next dimension, etc.
Oh, wow.
And etc. So imaginary that. So you put in a tuning fork on the bottom of that orgonite right now to emit some frequency. That is extremely motherfucking powerful. And it also shows that you know your stuff. Thank you so much for being here, bro. Thank you so much.
Man, yeah, it's really cool because I came into this with a very heavy conspiracy mindset, and I grew up in a church where I was learning how to like speak in tongues and also do miracles in the name of the Holy Spirit, which I believe in all of that stuff. I believe that you can do anything through Christ, through God, through the higher power that strengthens you. And I think that this business, this journey that I'm on is a real example of that. Like I put my ideas into reality and I said, hey, I'd like to do this and I'd like to see this in the world. I'd like to see people change their hearts and minds, and I want to be a catalyst for that information. So I really started just doing a bunch of research on different alchemical practices in ways to help liberate the soul, because what really matters is all this shit around you in the outside world really doesn't matter nearly as much as like the state of your soul itself and the state of your mind and your mental patterns and the different things that you choose to do on a day-to-day basis. When you start to break down what makes you you and the different things that affect you that you still hold on to, and you start to get rid of those things, you will see the outside world around you just radically shift, because the outside world is a reflection of what's inside. And so what I try to do is I try to give people these pyramids and these other devices. I mean, if this was just a nothing and it was just a space filler in existence, and I'm trying to teach you, the real message is you have to do this work inside of yourself, do this mental alchemical transmutation of lightening the soul and becoming that enlightened version of yourself, literally meaning you make yourself energetically lighter, you free yourself from these blockages. And the orgonite itself is a beautiful transmutational effect. There's many scientific reasons why it works, many sacred geometrical ratios that I put into every single one of my pieces that will resonate with your soul in certain different levels or different parts of your body or different parts of the universe. Like God encoded all of creation into mathematics, and God encoded everything into all of creation. So when you take these different mathematical principles that God used to make creation, like take example the Fibonacci ratio, for example. You hold your hand up right here. The Fibonacci ratio is literally played out in your hand in the shape of how it's made. Absolutely. You can look it up on Google, and you even the shape of the Giza plateau itself and the Giza pyramid itself is actually an exemplified ratio, the example of the Fibonacci ratio. But on top of that, the placement of the pyramids inside of the Giza plateau are showcased in the Fibonacci ratio. They lie on the exact lines where the Fibonacci ratio would be.
If I may add, I have to inject. You touched a lot of different points, and the first point was the biblical talk, and spirituality is one of the things that a lot of people have forgotten about. You guys forget about Jesus Christ when you guys are in a good favor and a comfortable zone, but you guys only reach out, and you only reach out to Jesus Christ when you guys are in fucking need. And quite frankly, I think that's incorrect. That doesn't only show disloyalty, but it also shows that you don't have no type of motherfucking self-discipline. So, having said that, you don't only discipline yourself to be in line with the highest righteous and highest power of the mighty creator and hold his mighty hand at every single fucking given moment. And quite frankly, even myself, I'm battling addiction, I'm battling alcohol, but I also get to meet people like you that also help me align my spirit, align myself, and align what I'm trying to project to the world. So that is extremely important what you said, and I'm going to amplify that message. Also, another big thing that you also mentioned was the Fibonacci sequence. The golden ratio has been implemented not only in our palm, but it's implemented on every single motherfucking object that you touch on this very fucking earthly realm. The Fibonacci sequence is not only at the bottom of this beautiful fucking pyramid that he gave me, but it's also at the bottom of the pyramids in Giza. It's on a flower. It's on a leaf. It's the way your DNA is structured. The Fibonacci sequence, the 369 sequence found by Tesla, is completely truth. If you guys look into it, now I don't want to give you too much into it, but what happens is
I'd love to go into it.
369 is 1. So you could add the numbers 3, you could multiply the number 3, you could subtract the number 3, and you could multiply and divide the number 3, 6, and 9, and it will always come back to 369. A quick example: 3 times 3 is 9. right? And it goes back and forth. If you divide that by 3, it equals fucking 3. And then 3, what is it? 3 times 4 is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3 again. So see what I'm saying, right? So it always goes back. Even 9 times 1, even 9 times 9 equals 81. 8 plus 1 equals 9. So it always goes back to that 3, 6, 9. And Tesla didn't only find the way to harness energy from the ether. I'm talking about energy from the atmosphere using this code absolutely free. But because the powers that be wanted to monetize this, they went with the Edison project instead and able to put on landline AC DC energy through the fucking electricity landlines that you use today to power these same devices you're hearing us today right now. And they have monetized every single inch of power that you're consuming. So this is the only reason why energy is not free, because the powers that be and conspiracy theories they're not just theories. These are just conspiracies in real life situations. Now, Organite, you mentioned something about the poisoning of these tools. Now, I believe strongly that Jesus Christ left. I'm sorry.
So you said something super important, and I want to show something for everybody to see, because it's so spot on to what you were talking about with the 369, 369, 369. I want to get into the topic you were talking about previously, but there's something that I try and talk about called vortex mathematics. And this vortex mathematics takes the idea of the multiplication table and the idea of code itself, and it converts itself into something called qualitative mathematics, which is basically numerological, and then also called, they make it something into trinary code instead of binary code. And if you imagine that on the idea of the symbolism, you have the duality converts into the 3-in-1, Father, Mother, Son, the Holy Trinity, and that you take away you add the 3, you add the Holy Spirit back into your life, essentially. But we're going to talk about the qualitative mathematics of the Rodin theory. And if you look right here, this is a normal multiplication table. And you see that this is like, you're talking about 3 times 3 equals 9. And if you go like, let's say 6 times 6 equals 36 right here. If you take that and you break them all down into their qualitative mathematical numbers, if you look at the 3 chart, the 6 chart, and the 9 chart, what do you see? 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9. 3, 6, 9.
Get the
3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, and then on the 6s, 6, 3, 9, 6, 3, 9, 6, 3, 9, 9, 9, 6, 3, and it's always the same. And you take these numbers and you convert them into a coil mathematical ratio, and you get something called the Rodin coil. And this Rodin coil has every third strand. Every one of those 3, 6, 9 numbers is actually generating its own electricity due to the fact that it taps into the natural life force energy that is around us. And so you don't have to do anything with this coil to make it actually be able to be positively emitting these scalar energetic waves. But when you then take this and attach it to a base and you hook it up to a frequency generator, which I also put these coils inside of pyramids you can purchase, and you can hook this up to a wall, hook specific sacred frequencies up to this, and you can provide electrified orgone energies that are like utilizing the Fibonacci scale ratio energy.
There's a book out right now. I think it's called on TikTok Shop. It was on Amazon. You guys can look it up. I don't own it myself, but there's a book called Surviving the Apocalypse, I think it's called. And you're able to survive off harvesting energy off dead batteries, off the ground, off using the 369 ratio. This is why a lot of, excuse my voice, guys, I'm going dark because I've been recording a lot of podcasts lately. This is why when you open up a shell and you slide it right in the half, and you open up a seashell and you open it up, and that little coral is open, like it starts from the bottom and it starts opening up from the top. It has the same golden ratio as a snail, as a freaking, all of this is implemented in the motherfucking universe. In fact, even our solar system and our fucking cosmos, the way that we interpret light and the fucking speed of light is something that we're never gonna fathom or even reach at any given moment. He who controls light is everything. I have a theory saying that basically you are light. There's a trilogy on trilogy situation where we live in. Our premise is matter, space, and time, right? Time, past, present, future. That's the first trilogy. Second, space, up, down, and width, right? What is it? Length, height, and width. That's our fucking trilogy of space. And then you have matter, liquid, solid, and gas, right? You put those trilogies together in one solid little spectrum, and you throw fucking light in this bitch, you will never understand what the fucking creator has put us in. It is not meant to be understood. It's only meant to us, for us to amplify a message and wake the other people up. It takes unification for us to really, really, really get closer to God. And and using tools like this, like the stuff that you bring in, is absolutely fucking gorgeous, bro. Yeah. Damn,
Well, I
dog, you're
appreciate
fucking
that,
on
man.
fire. You're on fire, bro.
You're on fire too, man. You're making me pop off. So what I'm thinking of is I actually took this photo. It was a fish tank that we had. It was like a little 5-gallon fish tank, and it was getting kind of old and stuff. And we had one of our snails actually pass away. And we noticed that there was a bunch of snails that started to just generate and grow everywhere. We ended up having probably 50 snails just appear in the tank. And I took a picture of this snail that was dead in the corner of my tank. And I was like, because there were other tiny baby snails climbing around it. And I said, holy shit, the Fibonacci ratio is exhibited inside of this shell right here. But then you have the other snails were the ones that were like more pointy, like they had the pointy shells.
Oh.
But basically the first shell is a 2-dimensional version of that Fibonacci ratio. And then that pointy shell is a spiral cone vortex version of the same Fibonacci ratio itself. It's just portrayed in different formats, so you basically have different dimensions of the same ratio portrayed all the way through creation everywhere.
Interesting. You know what? A lot of people use this copper. So I'm a wholesaler for electricians here in California. So we found out how electricity is conducted down to the ground, and it needs to be connected to the ground at all times, which means energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be fucking transformed, evolved, and adapt, right? I've told you this before. And then, so what happens is you put a copper rod straight into the fucking ground, you slam it 2 to 3 fucking feet into the ground, and then you put this coil of aluminum, which is also a good conductor, but it's a cheaper version, but if you put copper or gold, it's even better. So you fucking put this coil around it, and it amplifies the energy field around your fucking plants, and it makes your fucking plants grow even better. It is huge. It's fucking huge. There's people growing tomatoes the size of my fucking head, the size of a fucking watermelon, using electricity and water and soil and no other hormonal fucking injection, dog. It's fucking huge. It's amazing.
So I actually have made an amplified version, better version of what you just explained. And
fuck, there you go.
Sell it. I custom sell it, but anybody can order if they want to. But it is that same copper rod that I have along there. Actually, right here, I'll show you. It's these like 2 or 3 foot rods. I should get them a little bit thicker and larger, but I will put in a large Organite Giza pyramid on the top of it. And so I will seal it with epoxy and then wrap it with multiple different copper wires going all the way down to the base. And then I make these copper wires like 20 feet long, so you can wrap them down in through the garden beds of your soil. And when you put that thing down and you plant it down into the ground, you get it grounded. And the farther up higher that you have your, essentially the ether antenna, the farther higher up you have your pole, the more energy you're going to be able to get from the ether. So essentially you're able to pull more energy the higher up you have the piece, and then that Organite pyramid acts as an energy amplifier, which is connecting
like
the higher dimensional realms into the lower grounded physical realms. What you're really trying to do, all of us are doing always, is we are spiritual beings who live up in this higher dimensional realm, but we are also these physical beings that are also resonating here as well. So we are both physical matter and we're also spiritual light at the same exact time. And you have to, as soon as you take that principle and you put it into like the idea of in a ground, like with plants and gardening and stuff, you realize every single thing is also exemplifying that physical and spiritual fact. Every single thing in existence, even this rodent coil here, even the table you're sitting on, there's a spiritual component to it. Like there's a spiritual component to everything in existence. Like, and everything does exist and is conscious to a certain level. And I think that the idea of how conscious things are, we really underestimate. And the fact that we underestimate it, we kind of manifest its lower conscious state into our reality. Like there's people who like, you have like the Monroe Institute, for example, and they're doing like different consciousness a bunch of studies, and they'll be teaching people how to do fork and spoon bending. And like what you do is you literally connect to the consciousness of the spoon, and you say you can literally have a conversation with the spoon and say, hey bro, I'd love it if we could, like, if you would let me bend you, and it would be awesome. And then people literally take their finger and the fork just lets it bend, and it's fucking crazy.
This is also you just tell the spoon there is no spoon. You just
Yeah,
bend it over. like
exactly.
Matrix. No, what you do is, so basically what it is a combination of bending reality. And it's not necessarily that you're bending the spoon. You are bending yourself.
Yeah.
And this is not just Matrix talking, bro. This is real shit, because you're a very frequency generated battery, and you're also putting out so much information at the same time. Your heart's beating at a frequency, right? You're putting out this magnetic field around you, and you're able to manipulate that energy with thought. And this is why people can understand, oh, he's like, these people that could see virtually, these people that could forward sight, these people that can see ghosts, the people that can see inside of a bunker during Hitler's war, right? The things that people that could, what's it called, a virtual, what's it called, where you were able to fucking manifest and see inside a bunker before MK Ultra came in. I forgot the name.
You're talking remote viewing. Remote viewing.
So these things are all the same things. You just amplify a powerful energy frequency that you're able to use using not only the ether but also hydrogen, which is an extremely fucking powerful element and probably the most abundant element in the entire fucking universe.
Yeah.
And that is completely fucking fact.
Well,
I agree with you 100%.
Hydrogen creates almost everything in existence. One of my technologies, I would have made my own business off of this, and I was planning on it before I found OREGON.ITE. It was the technology of Brown's gas. And Brown's gas is a hydrogen, it's an electrolyzed distilled water. So all you do is you put distilled water inside of this tank, and you hit it with a specific resonating frequency, and it electrifies the water, and it literally turns it into a different state. So it makes this thing called Brown's gas, which is a super highly bioavailable version of hydrogen. And you can breathe this hydrogen, and there's life expectancies that you will live 50% longer with this gas, and you can bubble it into water, and you can feed it to everything. And there's this strange plasma that's created with the electrolyzation of this Brown's gas. And if anybody wants to look into this and is interested, the guy's name that I did a lot of the research on, his name is George Wiseman. His story is absolutely incredible. He has a business called the Aqua Cure, and I was really looking into making a device that combined the technologies of charging the water with OREGON.ITE and also using the highly energy efficient version of hydrogen, because hydrogen is just fuel for all life. Your body is made of hydrogen. Your body is also very deficient in hydrogen as well. We all have hydrogen receptors inside of our lower intestine. However, it's a bacteria. And if you know anything about the healthcare industry, one thing they like to pump into every single person's body is antibiotics, which they kill the bad bacteria, but they also decimate all the good bacteria that got put in your body to help you heal. So you literally destroy this fucking hydrogen receptors, and then your body is deficient in the fuel that it's trying to produce from the food. So you're getting all this food, you're shoveling all this fucking Big Macs into your body and stuff, and the energetic potential of that is really low already.
First of all, how dare you talk about Big Macs? Big Macs are the best grease.
Beautiful, I know. And that's why I recommend you bring your OREGON.ITE pyramid with you when you go to McDonald's and you charge that Big Mac before you eat it. No.
So you put that shit inside the Big Mac like this?
Oh yeah, no, that's the extra layer. No, you have to just put it right next to your piece. So with your pyramid, I would say your energy radius direct field is going to be about a foot radius bubble from around where it is. It might be a little bit larger. Yours also has really high copper volume, so it's going to be much more electrically conductive. And then some pieces are more focused on grounding and stability. So I'll have some of my pieces, like this mushroom, for example. I love this piece, actually. But there's a lot of dark steel inside of this. And what this does is it helps stabilize the energetic field around you, and it helps add another layer of, like, kind of like a grounding, but it's like, imagine for us, like, we're very high energy people. We can fucking go, and sometimes it's so hard for us because, like, my brain's faster than my mouth and it can't keep up.
Bam!
But exactly, and I was about to tell you is, like, I found someone finally that has the amount of energy that I have, and I can't, like, it's like I can't contain it, and I understand it fucking, but yeah, that's the different metals and stuff like that, and even the different stones.
Allow me to let me understand mine.
Okay.
why is it much more copper? This is beautiful that you're saying this, because that means you not only identifying, but you're also specializing in unique orders for the people that want to order your stuff. How do I use mine to its fullest potential?
So you need to essentially merge your energy with the energy of the pyramid, in the sense of where the energy of the pyramid is going to have a very stable high. So imagine you're taking like, I would consider my energy sometimes quite frantic in a sense, where I'm trying to do so much and I'm trying to get it done. And it's like, you can take that large amount of energy, provide structure to it, and then use it to just fuel and fucking supercharge your life. And so basically what you're doing with this Orgonite piece is you're consciously making that connection. And honestly, you could say you could do this purely through placebo, but I give a lot of the different energetic effects for it as well. You can literally say, I'm going to take this energy that I have, and it's going, now this energy is structured, it's going to fuel me, it's going to, you have to have certain levels of calm to it as well. The Giza pyramid is a pyramid of great calm and understanding. That's why I love the Giza pyramid so much. There's a lot of beautiful symbolism inside of it, but you kind of combine all of these different traits, and you are a much more high energy person. So you need a little bit of a higher energy piece. That orange pyramid, actually, it's the pyramid of the sacral chakra. So every single one of my pyramids are going to be aligned to different energetic frequencies based off of the color of which I place it. So that's an orange pyramid, so it's going to align at your sacral chakra, and that's going to boost the energies of creativity. It's going to boost the physical drive. It's going to make it so you can physically create with more energetic potential. The sacral chakra also has a bunch of other things that are beneficial as well, in terms of physical activity and different things in that area. But put it next to your bedside, I would say as well.
I did my first YouTube. Shout outs to Spiritual Gangsters podcast, the Cold Rejects, Teresa, NY Patriot, aka Nick. Shout out to all of these people, dog. I've had them on, and then they had me on a live on YouTube, and I fucking blew it up. And it was the same day this shit came in. It came in and I put it on my desk. So I put it on my desk, and now I have an electric powered table where it goes up and down. So there's energy always fucking flushing through it, right? So I need something to ground it before it fucking high circuits something or it fucks up my mic. Because I also found out that there's too much electricity coming out of one socket. Now that I'm selling to electricians, I need to spread the power around to different parts of the walls, different walls of the house, so that not all the power is concentrated there, so that my mic doesn't fucking blow the fuck up.
Yeah.
Et cetera, and et cetera.
Well,
so then, handle.
Sorry, on that level, I recently actually, so in my life, I've had quite an insane change in the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago on Sunday, I finally set up my rodent coil pyramid that was finally all hooked up, plugged it into the wall, and it was emitting different sacred solfeggio frequencies. And it was the first time out of the last 8-9 months that I had gotten it set up, finally, after doing all the research on it and talking about it this whole time. Sunday night, I'm like, yo, I haven't done this in a while because I've been so literally in a frantic rush for my whole entire last 3 or 4 years. Like, I'm going to sit down, take some time, and pray. I'm literally going to talk to God, get myself, I literally get myself it feels like I'm sitting in a large room, and God's just, his presence is there, and I just speak, and I literally just whatever. And so I did that for a while, and then the next morning, I get woken up by my father-in-law, who's like, yo, you've got a job now. You're working for these people up at one of the biggest hospitals up in Oregon, and you're working as an electrician, material handler, and you're learning all of the stuff for it. And a week before, I had been basically in a state of complete downloads, building this amazing device that I'm planning on using and connecting it to the ley lines of the planet itself. So all of these things tied in perfectly with each other, and it was like, holy shit, now I've got this giant other level of dimension of this stuff that I know I'm going to be working on and I have these plans for. And it's like, I go throughout my life and I'm building probably 20, 30 pyramids a week before. I was cranking these out as fast as I could and trying to get the energy just out into the world. And now all this stuff is happening, and it's like, you can't deny that there's a hand that is guiding every single thing that goes on in life. I know what's happening with me. God, the creator of the universe, whatever it is, is like going through and helping you, guide you into do whatever you have to do for the future, but you don't know necessarily what that thing is right now. You could be put in a situation where you really don't want to be in, that's like, oh, this situation is so shitty, why am I here? But really, you were learning plenty of the real important materials and different things that you have to learn for your future, to where you're better equipped to be able to help other people for what they're doing then. And so your present moment is always in preparation for the future, to where you can be a better support for yourself and a better support for others as well.
Yo, first of all, mighty motherfucking congratulations on that motherfucking you job, motherfucker. That's good shit. Hey, I celebrate your motherfucking wins. You know why, bro? Because the moment that you start providing for everybody else and you accomplish a little bit, even if it's a little bit, you accomplish a little bit in your life, and you're still able to stay happy and continue doing what you're doing, what you love, and you reach a real zen of happiness, a real inside happiness inside your gut, inside your body. I know that you're not gonna be suicidal. I know that you're fucking happy, and I know you're gonna provide for your kids and wife and family and mother and father, etc. So God bless you, and then may everything that you touch turns to motherfucking gold, bro. All right, bro, in every motherfucking sense. Now, if I know on third stage, first of all, before anything, let people know where they can find you one more time in the middle of this amazing episode. And man, shout outs to Sunday Night Secret Society's podcast. Look at that. He's
What's
here.
up, Kyle?
What's up, Chef? Oh, man. We are on fire talking so much motherfucking stuff here. Hey, he has OREGON.ITE has Isaac has gifted me a beautiful fucking pyramid that has actually amplified my message. And the reason I was bringing this information was because I did my first ever live with spiritual gangsters, occult rejects on YouTube. And I'm not on YouTube, I'm not on Rumble, but they had me on regardless of my fellowship on those platforms. And that was ecstatic. And I went in there a little nervous, and then I took a second breath. I was like, hold the fuck up. I got my mic and I was like, hold the fuck up. Wait. And I looked at the pyramid. I was like, who the fuck am I, dog? Fuck this. Boom, boom, boom. We fucking demolished that episode, bro, Polly. And they kept telling me, yo, this is the best episode ever. I was like, let's keep going. And like, I wish, right? Because I have kids too. I can't stop. I had to stop. But like, it did. It gave my creativity levels and amplification that I didn't feel before. And it was probably because I was in a good mood. And it was probably because it was a placebo effect. And I've talked to people about this placebo effect situation where you have to tap into your alter ego and then bring that character out and manifest it for greatness. But you could also use it for darkness. And recently, I've only been using my creativity and my alter ego for darkness, like lines of cocaine, sometimes even meth, and fucking just forgetting about my family. And it's not good. It's not good at all, you know. And now I have a sense of more of like a calling. God is telling me like, hey, check this out. I'm gonna leave a little tidbit of fucking truth here, and see what you do with it. You know, like it's fucking beautiful, bro. It's fucking beautiful. Where can people find you, big dog?
Yeah, people can find me. My Instagram is OREGON.ITE, and then you can find my website at www.oregon-ite.com. And then also, I love when people actually personally reach out to me, because if you just order a pyramid on my website, like that's great, you're going to get a beautiful piece, but I love to have a personal connection with my customers. I love to be able to understand what's going on with them, have them know that like this isn't just a transactional thing. This is like a personal spiritual tool that you are developing, and I'm trying to help be a catalyst for your own transformation. And honestly, I have it on my bio. It says I'm not a doctor, and I don't heal you. My pyramids don't heal you. The only healing comes from God. That's the only healing you need. And I'm trying to get you to understand that and understand the ways you can help rid yourself from the blockages that are preventing you from reaching that real source power. So, I love everybody that orders a piece. I've got discount codes. I know I should hook you up with a discount code, actually. What do you want your code to be? I'll hook it up as soon as this episode's over.
Okay, just put paranoid with no D. Paranoid. We got enough D to go around.
Cool. So code Paranoid will get you 10% off on my website if you want a piece. You can also reach out to me on my email at OREGONITE528@gmail.com if you want to let me know if there's anything you want. Any specific things you can go into. I can work on any part of the energetic field. Once again, I'm not a doctor, but everything physically that goes on in your body has a spiritual energetic correlation, and I try and get you to understand that spiritual correlation, and then naturally through the fact that you don't have that blockage anymore, it'll just naturally go away. But I'm once again not a doctor, can't do that. But yeah.
No, absolutely. You also mentioned so guys, this is the middle of the show. I also want to make sure you guys to let you know, make sure you check him out. He's gonna be on the drop down menu of our special guest and links. And use that motherfucking paranoid discount on w.orgon.ITE. OREGON.ITE. I forgot what it is. Okay, I'll put it back up.
Oh, you're good, bro. You're fine. Everybody will go check it out.
And make sure you check them out, ladies and gentlemen. Drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. This allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. I'm having a blast here. Now, check this out, guys. Okay, so there's something very important that you mentioned on the first portion of the show was you said amoxicillin. They give you antibiotics.
Mm-hmm.
That kill the bacteria in your body that actually help you grow. Yeah. Now, my fifth leg, I call her my fifth leg, Janet from the Pro Nation podcast, recently came on my show. She has given me the biggest episode of all time, which is Crohn's disease. So if you know anybody that has been dealing with Crohn's disease, diabetes, or high cholesterol, make sure you check us out at paranoidradio.com. I have episodes for everybody there and people that are going through health issues. We're not doctors, but we could guide you to take a healthier process to this in a more open state, and also hope, which is the most beautiful and the most important thing about this, because that powers everything. It powers placebo, it powers your brain, it powers frequency. And like you just mentioned right now, the smallest to the largest bacteria and cells in your body also operate at a very high or low frequency. Everything that is vibrating at a fucking frequency can be broken or reconstructed at a motherfucking frequency.
And that is called resonance. Sorry, I'll just say that's called resonance frequencies and dissonance frequencies. So imagine harmony and negativity, like yin and yang. Like there's something that'll benefit you and there's something that will harm you. Also, a lot of people with the cell phone radiation and all of these cell towers and 5G things are hooking up. They are trying to blast us with the negative disharmonious frequency to our bodies. And that's one thing that I try and do with OREGON.ITE is I'm not trying to constantly be plugging this whole time, but I've got these little flower of life transmitters. So this has the flower of life, which also has the Fibonacci ratio exemplified on it. But the backside, I can put in a 3M adhesive on it, and I have one stuck onto my phone. So this will constantly be transmuting the negative energies and turning it into a positive energy that you can utilize instead. And so there's a lot of frequency wars happening. A lot of people who talk about OREGON.ITE talk about the frequency wars, and it's a very real thing that's not talked about very much, and this really should be shouted from the rooftops.
Yeah, absolutely, because energy is everything, guys. Now, the last point that you had was how these tools can be used to heal the earth and heal yourself. Am I right? Or what was it? Explain, Chef.
Well, so it was explaining the connection that our planet has to our bodies and how we can work with our own selves, and it will help heal the planet itself. So the planet is a macrocosmic representation of every single nation, every single human inside of that nation as a whole. So it's like the aggregate average of the entire world's consciousness. And so when the people who are in that world start changing their own perception, raising their own level of light that they have inside of them, you get rid of all that darkness and shit, the earth will start to slowly become more filled with light instead of that inherent darkness. There's a lot of negativity that's been stored up. I mean, imagine the last 100 years, all of the wars that have happened that have just caused so much trauma, all of the psyops that have been put in place to just pump trauma and fear inside of us and make us not realize that we are all a connected human race and that we should be acting in upliftment towards each other. One thing I saw, there was a post that was talking about how the United States has like over 1,000 military defense bases across the world, and I was like, what if we had 1,000 upliftment training centers around the world that was focusing on helping people become not financially even, but like agriculturally abundant, not have to worry about food issues, also teaching philosophical practices and different spiritual beliefs. And that right there is what Atlantis used to be. And that is what the different types of advanced races that used to be around the world are. It was just large energetic hubs that kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So imagine the United States right now, but actually focused on love and upliftment and enlightenment, and then it transformed into the United States that it is right now, where it was degenerative, and then God just destroyed them because they didn't uphold the values anymore, which is what we're about to get into if we don't actually change our ways.
Yo,
but yeah.
So in 1913, when Titanic sank, this is the first ever conspiracy theory that I ever got into. When the Titanic sank, it didn't only sank one of the biggest ships in the planet, which was not really Titanic. It was actually called the Olympia. Um, it also sank and it killed the people that were against the Federal Reserve. So one of
Yeah.
the biggest investors that brought in and pushed out the embarkment of the Titanic was on J.P. Morgan Chase. And during the time when once the plan was out, about 5 hours before it departed, J.P. Morgan Chase pulled out his statues, his art, his finest fucking chandeliers, et cetera, his finest pieces and conductive energy stuff out of the boat, and because he knew that it was going to go down. And as soon as the people that died on that boat, a lot of the people that died on that boat, on that ship, were against the Federal Reserve. And this is where your shift talks about the education system. The education system was also really promoted and proposed by the Rockefellers because his life and his investments in the petroleum element in the petroleum industry was endangered. So what he did was he started investing in the education system in the United States of America, empowering those kids to learn how to push buttons and not really know how to fucking put money in the bank to save, et cetera, et cetera. And then you have the people in the Federal Reserve that come in and completely obliterate the system, the monetary system that we had, that were centralized, localized, centralized banks, which were I give money to the fucking Civic Center at Huntington Park, my city where I live at, and then that city will come and build a railroad so that we could get in goods and then push out our goods city by city, state by state. Instead, what he did was he put the Federal Reserve and started taxing us 35%, 25% here and there. Even Abraham Lincoln was one of the major fuck-ups. Abraham Lincoln was the very first motherfucking state president, even though I'm a fan of Abraham Lincoln because of what he did and because of the Republican Party, because I'm a MAGA supporter. Donald Trump is the closest thing to Jesus Christ, a.k.a. Donald Trump 2024. Just dropped in that. I just want to drop that in there. But still, Lincoln was the president that actually inputted the federal tax, the income tax on everybody to a pristine level, and then it was unconstitutional. So to this day, it is unconstitutional. Then the Federal Reserve started sneaking it in there, and then going against the Supreme Court, and then started sneaking it in there and even more. And now to this point, now we're getting taxed 37% on everything, while the people that revolutionized this entire fucking country went to war because of that 1%. And I'm not 1% tax. Now I'm not trying to make this political talk. What I'm trying to say is it's true. The more you don't know, the more these tools are handed to you and you don't know what to do with them, the more we allow these people to provoke critical problems in our life and then give us solutions, the solutions that are not going to benefit us. For example, the pandemic, right? Like we allow these people to put us inside our homes, give us a motherfucking shot that was not FDA approved, and then we still are begging our enslavers to enslave us even more through our phones, through the technology that we use on a day-to-day basis. And that is fact, what you just said.
Oh, 100%. I got a couple points on that. The first one is the education system in the Rockefeller Foundation that was really trying to push it. You have basically you got to get them while they're young. When kids are at a very early stage in their life, they are in a constant theta state in their brains, which means they're constantly absorbing and learning everything that's told to them. So you get these kids when they're 4 or 5 inside of preschools, and you're like, in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Well, bro, I don't even fucking know if Columbus was real, but there were people in the U.S. areas and territories for a lot longer than that, and every single thing that they're teaching us is just a cover-up campaign to disguise us from the real truth that's meant to be. And so the whole entire school system is set up where even the college university systems, it's really bad. Like, I can't imagine if I would have gone through the universities and colleges. I don't know where I'd be right now. Like, they consistently, what they do is they give you different levels of information to keep you become more firmer and firmer into your beliefs. And they just feed you more and more complex bullshit to where when you realize and you get the alternative viewpoints, like let's say you send this podcast to somebody who's going through Harvard or Stanford, and it's like, this guy's full of shit because I've been learning this, this, and this. Well, guess what? You've just been listening to some dude who's been trying to fabricate this really complex lie to get you off of the real truth and the real knowledge that will help benefit society and help benefit yourself and others around you. Also, I wanted to say on the financial aspect of what you were saying, there's this dude named Brandon Joe Williams that's been going around the internet, and he has a he has a movement where he is trying to teach people how to free yourself of the financial shackles that you put yourself under by utilizing the very bills and the laws that are in the Constitution and in the writing of the law itself.
Wow.
Essentially, he states that the whole entire system of law is based off of inherently biblical principles. And if you look at the Federal Reserve note that we call money, if you realize what that Federal Reserve note means, all it is implying, since it is not silver or gold, a real currency, it is something called a promissory note, which all this means is I promise I'm going to pay you this amount. And so basically we're giving money and saying, I promise to pay you this amount. And we have this money that's just a bunch of people promising to do shit. And you can literally write these own promissory notes by yourself. Say, I promise to give this amount.
An IOU.
Send it to your
It's an
bank.
IOU, dog. It's an IOU.
Yeah, it's an IOU. And you can write these own IOUs to other people. And so there's two types of way we do sales in this world. And it's either bills of sale, or I think it's a bill of contract or something like that. And then that contract is fulfilled by a promissory note. And you can replace that Federal Reserve note with anything. You can write your note saying, I promise to pay this person blank, blank, blank amount in oranges or bananas or whatever. And if you send it to if you send it to the IRS, or if you send it to your fucking mortgage or whatever, they literally, if they receive the note, if they mark and say that they received it, that means that you're now free of that debt. Because if they choose to refuse that, now they refuse the payment. And this guy, Brandon Joe Williams, goes super in depth into how you can kind of free yourself of different mortgages and stuff like that. I got to. One thing I want to say is I've been really contemplating this, and he talked about how all law is based in spiritual ideas. And that got me thinking, what is the amount of karmic debt that we are accruing by constantly saying that we're going to pay you back? I got you, bro, but then we never do. Like, I'm under the belief that physical exchange and to say that we're going to do something and then we don't do it is putting essentially a karmic spiritual debt onto ourselves. So then it got me thinking, like, what if the whole entire system is set up to basically make us not actually be fulfilling what we're supposed to be fulfilling, and we're just kind of accumulating a bunch of karmic debt onto ourselves that we don't realize we're doing?
And then your children carry the debt.
Exactly.
Your children. This is why your children is the gold mine.
Yeah.
You hit it on the motherfucking nail. A lot of people, for example, last night I was on a conversation with Chef, with Electro Nick, Sean from Meta Mysteries, and great people. They were all great people except for Sean Kentucky. I don't care. I don't give a fuck about him. He's a dick.
Yeah, I fucking love Sean. He's my homie.
He's a blob. Well, he's not my homie. So you're my homie, but he's not. Anyway, he's a blob.
Yo. Okay, whatever.
As soon as he saw my brown face, he's like, "I'm not political, guys, man. Fuck you. You're fucking acting stupid." Anyway, Chef, if you hear this, it is what it is, bro. I was like, I let them talk. I let them talk. And then when I blew up and I blew the gasket open, I came at everybody's throat, like, boom, 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 boom. And I gave each of them a little sermon. And I came at them. And I told them, you guys are all talking about the wrong stuff. Like, there's things here that you guys are talking about how the earth should be curving in this 15. Like, this is tip of the iceberg conversations. Like us, not only as podcast hosts, which all of us are at that fucking room. In that room, every single one of us had a amplified platform that we all use at a very height, right? A very powerful, heightened level. And I told him, like, in my head, I was like, as podcast hosts, we should not be talking about how many feet the curve of the world should be, if it's flat or circle. It's about who's in charge of us and a deeper level of the iceberg. And I try to say it in a way that wasn't disrespectful, because I was disrespected. I try to be very amicable and very professional, very Trebles like at the same time, right? But it was like a lot of us are not talking about the things that really matter, about how to keep your body in shape, how to control where your 2 feet are at, which is something that you fucking mentioned. And I give you props for saying that at a very young age. You cannot control other people's thoughts, emotions, or behaviors or habits. You can only control what you are experiencing, your own POV, wherever the fuck your feet are at right now. That is all you have control over. Now,
And
if
it's
you want
their
to make a difference, yeah,
it's I said, and it's their choice to hop on that wave or not. Like, eventually you put out the vibration, and if the people who are listening to it choose to receive it, then you planted a seed essentially for their spiritual transformation and their growth. And people like I myself have hundreds of people literally that I've listened to, and I've been really deeply changed by their perspectives on things. And I think that's one of the reasons why I have such a passion at this young age. Like I'm 21, and I'll be on a lot of shows, and I've been the youngest guest on the majority of people's podcasts it's because I constantly throughout my life was absorbing information, and I thought that the wiser the information that I was absorbing, the wiser I'd become myself. Mm-hmm. So if you are what you consume. You're not just what you eat. You are what you consume on every level. You are the music that you listen to. You are the people that you watch. You are every single outlet that comes into your mind, because you're an aggregate. Basically, everything is an egregorical energy that's around you, and you absorb these energies and they become part of your own being. So if you start taking those energies and you start focusing on something that's more positive and something that's more uplifting to yourself and others, like I was really, really deep in the info warrior train in the 2020s. Like I was terrified of the whole entire world and thought that we were all going to shit and that there was no hope for anything.
Yeah,
it was really chaotic, and so I was terrified of, I thought that by this point we were all going to be stuck in 15-minute cities, and we're going to be having to eat bugs, and then by 2030 half of us were going to be dead. And I think a lot of it is just you end up putting out the world that you say is going to happen. So why are you focusing on that? You can acknowledge there's people in the world that want to do that, but you need to also take that step forward and say, no, we're not going to let that happen. We're not going to listen to these crazy ideas.
How are we going to change it? How are you going to
fucking insane.
To make a difference? Yeah.
Exactly. How are we going to change that from the ground up? Because we, the people, are the ones that have to make the change. You literally in the Constitution say that if the government has become unstable and unruly, you have the right to form up a militia against it to take back the country. And that's in your constitutional fucking right. Damn. But we don't even understand any of that. And this is I'm starting the militia of love. I'm starting the militia of forgiveness and understanding with others. I told people, I got in an argument with somebody on a Discord server a couple days ago. And I wouldn't say it's an argument, but I was saying the guy was like, well, should we really be empathetic and forgiving to the people like the Illuminati and the people like that? Let's say there's a person who in their early 20s, they join the Illuminati and they're doing all this stuff and they're trying to do it all for themselves. But then later on in life, they want to make a change. I'm like, honestly, the person who decides to make a true change after doing all of that that selfish stuff and trying to become their own, use the metaphysical power for themselves, they just decide to make that change later on. I think they're 10 times braver than the people that weren't stuck in that system before. And we should be letting them come to us with open arms and love and ready to show them the way that we have found. Because if we continue to show them judgment and show them hate, just like the mainstream church does for the rest of the world, which is why most people hate the mainstream Christian church, because we constantly will go judge. You don't believe the exact same way we do. You think these other ways, so we think that you're subhuman. That's not what Jesus Christ told us to do. He told us to go and literally infiltrate their lives and basically work from the inside out to show them through example what we should do. We don't say, hey, you're a fucktard. We're not going to listen to you or talk to you, and we're going to banish you from our society. Well, guess what? They're going to keep going down their own perverse paths and become even more corrupt, and that's not what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to stay in our little circle jerk bubble. I'm so sorry, but that's really what a lot of people do, and most people do in their own lives. Every single different group has this own little bubble where they don't go outside of it because they're A, feared of being said I'm crazy, and B, they don't want to get in arguments with people. It's their comfort zone, and everybody's stuck in their comfort zone, which is why we're not making a real change, because everybody's stuck with their own limited beliefs and they don't want to work together.
Word. The act of forgiveness is bigger than the act of revolution.
Yeah.
That is completely motherfucking fact. Yo, this is Oregon.ITE on Instagram. Yo, we fucking rocked it, bro. That was an amazing fucking episode. A very beautiful fucking live day. We had a couple hundred people join us for a minute there. They were coming and leaving, coming and leaving. But the exposure to this truth is not only going to stop here, it's going to continue on because I'm dropping this episode next week on Wednesday on an audio on all podcast platforms. Oregon.ITE, please let them know one more time. Isaac, let them know one more time where they can find you, bro. We're closing out.
Yeah, you can find me at www.oregonstate, OREGON-ITE.com, and my Instagram is oregonstate.ite. You can shoot me an email at oregonite528@gmail.com if you have any custom orders or any questions about anything. If you, for some reason, don't want to order a piece, even though I think that'd be absolutely crazy, but just want to shoot me a message and say, hey, what's up? I'd like you to go a little more into depth about this one thing you mentioned. Feel free to do that. I love answering any questions. I love interacting with the community. I try and share all of this information that continues to rattle around in my brain as much as I can. It actually helps me a lot too. So thank you, Trebles, for having me on. I appreciate it. You're amazing. I love this platform you provided, and I love the information you're spreading. Everybody needs to continue to hop on this train and keep going with the enlightenment and truth.
I'm going to give, right before we leave, I'm going to get about 2 minutes for anybody that's watching right now. If you have any questions, drop them on a comment right now. We'll be able to fucking handle those questions for you. And as I'm waiting for those questions to come in, I also want to let you guys know that this is June, and it's not only Pride Month, but it's also Men's Mental Health Awareness. Check on your father, check on your brother, check on your sons, your cousins. Check on your uncles, check on everybody else, because a lot of the times, believe it or not, 60% of the men 15 and older that are fathers in the United States of America are contemplating or already are committing suicide in this fucking country alone. So make sure you check that out, ladies and gentlemen. Dudes' lives matter. Now, if there is no other questions in the comment box, we're going to give it another 30 seconds. Yo, Oregon.ITE, you're amazing, bro. You're a wealth of information. I am extremely ecstatic and happy that you're here. I also have a message for these young people out here, and I don't want to introduce or influence anybody's voting capacity or voting capabilities or anything. But if you're coming out of high school, and if you want to be involved in any sort of matter, the most important piece of thing that you could do for the rest of your existence, for your children's, for your little sisters and brothers' existence, is register to motherfucking vote. Every vote fucking counts. This republic needs you now more than ever. Latinos for Trump 2024. That is right. I always do that shit. Paranoid Radio Podcast is here to stay forever, guys. Every freaking Wednesday, check us out at paranoidradio.com. Oregon.ITE here in the motherfucking house. And yo, you can check them out also on the special guest and links on our Paranoid Radio Podcast, paranoidradio.com.
Paranoid Radio.